Welcome back from the break. Do that again. Welcome back from the break. This is Mostly Superheroes. I'm your host, Logan, here with Scotty Scoop, the Giggler, St. Louis, Missouri, in the basement, talking about superhero stuff. You guys might have picked up on the fact by now that we are in the middle of a rewatch in preparation for Spider-Man No Way Home, December 17th. At this point, 6 weeks away. Did you guys even realize?
Whoa.
6 weeks away from an
Close.
epic MCU Sony film bringing together some franchises with the power of the multiverse. Phase Zero stepped up in a big way, helped us, inspired us really, to start this rewatch and revisit what I call the classics. Now, I don't know if I'd still put this one in the category of the classics because it came after, in my mind, the classic Raimi films. Tobey Maguire is a classic to me, but nonetheless, in 2012, a movie came out called The Amazing Spider-Man, starring Andrew Garfield, and we're going to break it down right now. A little background on the film, as always, some help from Wikipedia. The Amazing Spider-Man is a 2012 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character Spider-Man. Sharing the title of the character's longest-running comic book series of the same name, it is the fourth theatrical Spider-Man film produced by Columbia Pictures and Marvel Entertainment, and classified by Wikipedia as a reboot of the series following Sam Raimi's 2002 to 2007's Spider-Man trilogy that we just did a recap of. The first of the two films, The Amazing Spider-Man, is directed by Mark Webb and written by James Vanderbilt, Alvin Sargent, and Steve Kloves. From the story by Vanderbilt, stars Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone, Reese Ifans, Dennis Leary, Campbell Scott, Irfan Khan, Martin Sheen, Sally Field. And in the film, after Peter Parker is bitten by a genetically altered spider, he gains newfound spider-like powers and ventures out to save the city from a mysterious villain.
Heard that story before.
Yeah, the origin story of Spider-Man done again. We've talked about it at the time, right? 2007 was when Spider-Man 3 came out. This movie came out 5, in my mind, short years later to redo what some might call a masterpiece, but by any means, a very successful Spider-Man franchise. This movie came in, and I decided when I was going to watch it, I don't think I had seen it probably again. I mean, I probably haven't seen this one since it came out. Like, realistically, maybe within a couple years.
I don't think I watched it since it came out on Blu-ray, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I probably went and bought the Blu-ray, watched it, sat on the shelf.
That was it. Then you're like, okay, I saw that. Andy, when was the last time you saw it before
Maybe
this?
once since then, like randomly on TV here and then. I kind of remember.
Mm-hmm. So it's not like what you do with Spider-Man 2, Scotty, watch them once a year. This is one that you watched it once, and
this was on the shelf.
But we brought it back to the forefront, and we're going to talk about it fresh. We always do what we can to take away all the bias, anything that we've had pre-notions about, and we sat down and we watched a Spider-Man film, and I can't wait to break it open with you guys. We'll talk about ratings at the end when we kind of highlight our favorite parts, how we feel about this. Some folks out there on the internet, though, just to set us up, 6.9 on IMDb, 72% on Rotten Tomatoes, 66% on Metacritic. Scotty Scoop, give us your gut check on this film, how you felt at the time. How'd you feel during this rewatch in present day in 2021?
At the time, I wasn't really happy with the movie. I think at the time I probably would have given it like a 2.4.
Mm-hmm.
The costume, I think, looks great. I think the Lizard was a great choice for a villain. But I wasn't really feeling it. Watching it again yesterday, I think I know what the problem I had with it was.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were all suffering from some sort of origin fatigue, is what I'm going to call it. Because we had gotten 2 Hulk origins. Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor. This is the same year as the Avengers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here we are with another Spider-Man origin. I don't think it needed to be retold. I think they could have just jumped in like the current Spider-Man movies have. But rewatching it, I had a good time. And I think little better
than the first time.
Great action. wasn't really a fan of the. I guess I would call it a Twilight-esque take on Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Kind of had that feel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like definitely a different audience.
Yeah.
More teeny bopper.
Yeah.
A little bit. Andy, how'd this go for you, man? You got 2 Spider-Man outfits in your closet. What'd you think of this second Spider-Man franchise?
I'm shook by Scott's description of the origin fatigue, and now I'm like, maybe this is why I didn't love this movie in the first place. But the rewatch, kind of like what Logan said earlier, it kind of felt exactly like the first time, which isn't really a super great thing, but not super bad either. I don't know, just was middle of the road for me.
Sure. And you never know. Sometimes when we get into talking about this, you change your mind by the end of it, and you're like, you know what?
Yeah,
we'll see.
There's some things I liked, things I didn't, but Dennis Leary, love Dennis Leary, so that their casting overall was very great.
Fantastic.
I think that's one of the best part.
Martin Sheen.
Yeah, top to bottom, there really wasn't a bad call in my opinion.
Yeah, Sally Field's a great Aunt May, right?
Yeah.
I'm with you guys. We're going to talk about how we feel about it and get into the story. I mean, it's going to be hard not to just do comparison game, which is exactly what happened when I watched it the first time around. And even this time around, as much as I was just trying to be present in this Peter Parker's life, you couldn't help but notice a couple things that weren't just that were straight up copycat. A couple things, and we're going to talk about it. I also agree with you, Scotty, that I didn't really think about that. 2012. You talk about the Avengers coming out. Like, you're many MCU films in.
Yeah.
The Raimi films have been over for a while because Iron Man came out in 2008. The last Spider-Man film was 2007. I remember this. I was thinking, if you're going to bring this character back in a new way, why in the world are we not bringing them into the MCU?
Well, that and just like you watch Avengers, and then you watch this, and it's apples
really
and oranges.
Really bad. Then.
Yeah.
We're talking about one of the best movies ever made, and then this is a reboot, kind of openly.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering if they're going to reclassify that.
Yes,
in 6 weeks.
Sam Raimi's like, no.
Is it a reboot, or
was it, DC? It'd be like Earth 7.
Right.
All right, let's get into it. Spoiler alert for the film right now. The Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield comes in, and this is the origin story again. I feel like almost the best way to do it is a little bit of Comparison City, but what they do here is they try to get you a little bit more info on Peter Parker's parents, get you involved with his dad is kind of like caught up and working with Oscorp, and there's more to how Peter Parker gets connected to Oscorp because his dad was like a worker there. And it's, it's there. You meet, there's a lot of names that you hear that you never see. Norman Osborn is apparently sick in this movie. You get Uncle Ben very much alive. Martin Sheen does a great job. Sally Fields being Aunt May. I mean, she's a great Aunt May. Bring her back.
Yeah.
What's she up to? And then you got Andrew Garfield just playing this, young, Peter Parker, trying to make his way through life, trying to skateboard in his, high school hallways. And then in this one, the big swap they made is no Mary Jane Watson, but we got Emma Stone playing Gwen Stacy. What do you guys think of Emma Stone in this film?
It's good.
She does a good job.
Yeah.
Like, it's Emma Stone, right?
Right.
Yeah, casting, like I said, was great.
I think they all did great.
Casting was all right.
Didn't they like date in real life after this movie? So
that sounds right.
Shows you when you put it together on screen, you made the right choice.
Just like Tom Holland.
Whoa.
Yeah. I don't think Tobey Maguire dated Kirsten Dunst, did he?
Maybe.
Possibly.
I feel like that was like maybe on TMZ one day. We'll see. I'll see what I can find here.
All these Spider-Mans dating their actor counterparts. I love it. But I don't know. This is, they pull out a lot of the same stuff, right? They build up the relationship between Uncle Ben, and then great power, great responsibility, but told in a different way. Just kind of the same line, but just kind of flipped on itself. And the death scene of Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben does die in this one, like in the first half hour of the movie. If you can see me right now, it's like I'm already like I had trouble from the get-go. Like I just didn't feel. I felt like the writing was a little weak up front. Andrew Garfield's just kind of a weird dude, and this was a strange take on Peter Parker even before he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of a goofy guy, and it felt a little thin, but it's all right. Like, once he gets the powers going, he goes to Oscorp. Gwen Stacy like works there as like a high school intern.
Very odd.
Yeah, like she's the right-hand assistant to Dr. Connors, and that's your boy. What's his name again?
Reese Ifans.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Oh, I mixed up what you
I
said
was like,
earlier. No, Reese
Yep,
Ifans.
being Dr. Connors.
This
No.
guy's great. I recognized him from Little Nicky. Plays one of the brothers.
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you.
Nice.
That's the only movie I could think of. I'm sure he's in a lot more.
Oh
but
yeah.
I think he is easily one of the top parts of the film.
Yeah.
And basically trying to grow his arm back with a reptile cross-species gene therapy. Peter Parker sneaks in to get some more info about how this guy worked with his dad, and blows the guy away. Like in this one, I also liked how they made Peter Parker like the brilliant scientist that he is.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of explore that in the Raimi films, but I always felt like it was kind of weak. Like,
Yeah.
you know, he couldn't quite cut it in college. Like he was a little bit too real. In this one, they show his intelligence level. How do they show you? He's got a lock on his door in his bedroom with the remote control to like lock the door and deadbolt it. But the big spider bite, man. What do you guys think of this spider bite? Breaks into the
Creepy.
vault, sees
Yeah.
like a billion spiders.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
As a hater of all spiders, hated that whole scene.
It just rains all
It
over
just like
him.
I could feel them on me, just crawling all around.
And then he gets that bite on his neck.
It's worth it though. Like if I would definitely hang out in a room of radioactive spiders
If I had known.
Yeah.
How
it.
gross was it when the spider web was coming out of it like
Yeah,
a
like-
zit?
Pulled it. And
Yeah, Carrie had to look away at that part.
Yeah.
And then after that, that's where also I feel like, you know, this is, I try not to play comparison, but it's your fault for making a movie 5 years after the
Yeah.
first one came out.
Yeah.
I just felt like I wasn't connected to him learning his powers as much in the first one. It just felt very much like I'm Spider-Man now, and I'm just going to be a goofy guy that goes after the guy that kills his uncle. He does that again. I was going to say one of the things that felt like straight up copycat, which I guess it's part of the Peter Parker origin story, but still, seeing them so close together. The robber that kills his uncle, right? The gas station guy, same scenario.
He had a chance.
He had a chance, and then he's like, what's his line? He goes, not my policy.
Yeah.
Instead of like, not my problem. Just felt, you know, I'm like, do it a little bit more different. You know, if you're going to do this, you're going to have to like really change it up. And it just felt pretty similar. But quickly gets into crime fighting mode. I like the almost the Miles Morales kind of looking. He does like the red pullover on his face with just kind of regular hoodie before he like makes his Spider-Man suit. I thought the Spider-Man suit was good. I mean, for me, it's hands down, no question. The Raimi suit is 10 times better than this suit in my mind.
I agree.
Yeah, I think this one's the most realistic looking, like in real life, but
Yeah.
not the best for sure.
Yeah, it does look a little bit more real, a little bit more realistic. And him in the suit style, and even Andrew Garfield playing this Peter Parker, it reminded me of like more of the young, fun, sarcastic Spider-Man
Yeah.
that maybe you see more of in the video game, I would assume at this point. But like, you know, Tobey Maguire was more of the nerdy, more reserved Peter Parker. He's more of he's making jokes with the cops. He's making fun of burglars and like kind of like trash talking them as he goes. But it looks pretty good overall. And the action in this looks good too. I like his swinging. They do a lot of first-person swings in this, where they're kind of like putting you in the eyes of Peter Parker as he's swinging, going through the buildings, looking in the reflection. You get a little bit of that. If you guys have any parts, by all means, jump in. I'm just kind of going through it as I think of it.
Bully Garfield.
Bully Garfield?
Bully Garfield.
Is that what he is? Is that what it is? Is that
You
a
know,
thing?
when he was kind of a jerk, you know, especially to Flash,
Yes.
you know, where he with the basketball scene, you know, not letting him grab the ball, and then the very awkward slam dunk and smash in the backboard.
Chokes him out after Uncle
Yeah.
Ben dies.
Yeah, and he does that dunk, and he even does it like in a
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
like a weird,
Yeah, he forgot to pick up his Aunt May, and
Yeah.
like is just like whatever.
smashes the front door.
Smashes the front door. Man, if I was his aunt and uncle, I'd be like, his dead parents owe us big time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. Damn it.
Glad we stole his inheritance.
And basically, yeah, I mean, you learn a lot more about his parents. His dad was like wrapped up in this stuff. They died in a plane crash.
Yeah, I found that to be one of the more interesting parts of the movie. like expanding on like where are his parents?
Yeah, they're just. And you don't really
something never really touched on in the other movies.
Especially when you open the film with 9-year-old, 8-year-old Peter Parker walking in on his dad doing something in his study and like having to run. Like it's such a big part of the story. I feel like they talk about him a little bit. Dr. Connors and like his right hand man, or that guy's name. He was like a character I knew too. He was the
I don't know. Is it the guy that he kills?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. He was in Jurassic World.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he was, and like I felt like he had like a familiar name, but having trouble remembering it. But either way, you get a lot more of the parents in this one. Like it's meant to lead you to believe that like there's more to Peter Parker becoming Spider-Man than just randomly getting bit. Like it's like he has a reason to be at Oscorp. Is essentially what they did. I like Dr. Connors in this. I mean, just basically, he gets the pressure to create his serum, his solve all disease serum, because Norman Osborn is dying. He's on his deathbed. So that's the pressure. That's where he decides to do testing on himself. This is good. It gets a little ridiculous, right? He likes Peter Parker so much during that tour because he impressed him. Peter Parker shows up at his house, first of all, because he's like, he wants to find out more about him. But Dr. Connors is like, wow, you really solved the formula that I've been looking for my whole life. Come to Oscorp and we'll make this together. And the two of them, no one else makes this thing. And he leaves, and Dr. Connors puts this thing in his arm. I mean, it works. He grows his arm back.
Yeah.
I was like, that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Think about what we were like in high school. Could we have even the best version of ourselves even done anything remotely like that?
Yeah, but we're not scientists, Andy.
I know, but still.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing with like Gwen Stacy working at Oscorp.
Yeah.
As a 17-year-old. But he puts it in quickly, So yeah, he talks to his business partner who's like, because he just got fired, right? He's like, I'm not going to do human trials. And the guy's like, you're fired. And he's like, all right, well, I'll do it then. Puts it in, grows his arm back, hops in a cab to go get him, turns into, what's his official villain name?
The Lizard.
Is it just the Lizard?
It's just the Lizard.
And he's just a big old lizard.
Big old lizard.
Those lips, that mouth, he's like,
yeah. Looked great, I thought.
It looked amazing.
Yeah.
I remember at the time when they had first come out with the trailer, there was a lot of comparisons to the Super Mario Brothers live action Goombas.
Goomba, yes.
Wow. That is perfect.
Yeah. And I mean, his big plan that he ends up doing, right? He goes and he's like, I'm going to work in the sewer. I'm going to live in the sewer. All the lizards come, find him there. All the little lizards.
Yeah, weird.
Really weird. But his plan is, I'm going to turn everybody into lizards. Nobody's going to be outcast anymore. We're all going to be on the same level, and we're all going to be lizards.
Lizard people.
We're going to be the lizard people.
The lizard people. Isn't that like a Illuminati thing?
That's
That's
it is, isn't it?
Is that reptile people?
Isn't that?
Yep.
Yeah, isn't that what like?
Oh, man, we shouldn't even talk about this.
Some like people on the right call some people on the left lizard people, right? Am I barking up the right tree?
That is correct.
You can. We're talking about it as we're a little further away from it, Andy. Don't worry, we're not going to get into. This isn't mostly politics.
Okay, thank
not yet.
Mostly lizard people.
Mostly lizards. Peter Parker picks up on this. He's like, listen, maybe I do need to stop this guy. Like, Gwen Stacy's like, this isn't your job. And he's like, what if it is? And I'm also going like, is it?
Right.
And maybe you should just call somebody. But he decides, I'm gonna go to the sewers. Here's my big plan: go to one sewer main, get in the middle of like all the different sewer pipes, and shoot my web 1,000 ways, and tie it in the middle. And then whenever someone plays one of my webs like a guitar, I know that he's coming.
Is Peter Tingle?
They don't really even show you the spider sense in this movie, do they?
No.
He's pretty bad at it. Really?
Yeah, he's not that good. He goes there and gets... I mean, it was kind of like a hero's journey. This was the, I know everything. I'll go figure this out. I'm going to get my ass kicked by a lizard in the sewer. And he does. He also has web cartridges in this film.
Yeah.
He's not growing the stuff.
No.
How did he get his hands on that? He saw it at Oscorp.
Yeah, I think he just stole it.
And
kind of manufactured the rest of it.
Yeah, because he tells one of the bad guys, like, I made it. And I'm like, did you make it? But you didn't make it, right? And there's like a video somewhere of like in Oscorp where they're like, this is our tinsel, blah, blah, blah. And there's hundreds of yards in a single capsule. And I was like, okay, all right. It's kind of cool. And it works really well.
Yeah.
I think his spiderweb looked really good. Him as Spider-Man doing the flips, kicking around, looks pretty legit. Anytime he's fighting the lizard, looks really good.
Yeah, good CGI. Holds up.
Yeah, CGI holds up.
But, it's not that old.
It's not. That's a really, right.
Yeah, I did. I like the build up to him becoming Spider-Man a little bit more too.
Yeah.
Just like of him when he was like he was in that warehouse, like swinging from the.
Oh, you talking about like the Footloose scene?
Yeah.
Instead of Footloose, he's just swinging from chain.
Maybe not that. Just the fact that they went there, like it's just not him all of a sudden flying through the rooftops.
Right.
Like,
I'll jump off this building and
yeah,
but
got it.
He kind of does because he swings around a little bit, but then he's like, I'm gonna go try to swing with my new webs. And the first place he goes is like one of the tallest buildings in the city and stands on like one finger.
And you guys don't do that frequently.
I mean, Carrie was like, Carrie goes, first time you're gonna. I was like, but it looks great, looks really good. He gets his what's his name, plays Gwen Stacy's dad, the police chief.
Yeah, Dennis Leary.
Dennis Leary. He walked in whenever whenever Peter goes to visit Gwen at the apartment. Her dad comes in. Dennis Leary comes in. Carrie goes, "Oh, guess we just met the next bad guy." And I go, "No." And she goes, "Oh, I just assumed he was a bad guy." I was like, "Yeah, I can see that. He would have made a great villain."
Yeah.
Like if they would have made him be like, I mean, he could have easily been like the Green Goblin. He kind of looks like William Dafoe.
I love Dennis Leary so much.
So great.
Rescue Me was one of my favorite shows of all time.
I got into that a little bit.
Long time though.
Were there like 10 seasons of that? A lot.
Yeah, but it ended like probably 15 years ago.
Yeah, that was a real popular one.
Maybe
I remember
10.
that. All right, so then the big plan from the lizard, Dr. Connors, is okay. I made my lizard making juice. I'm gonna put it in this machine that shoots it into the sky, and it's gonna turn the whole city into lizards. Not before I turn like some cops into lizards and like some firefighters. I mean, those guys had probably a wild few hours just being lizards for a while. And there's an antidote that can essentially cure everybody. And Gwen Stacy, because of Peter Parker, gets sent to Oscorp. She finds it. Big fight at the end between Peter and Dr. Connors. This is one of my favorite parts in the movie, actually, is he gets injured. Spider-Man gets injured. He gets shot in the leg. And he's like, I got to make it all the way across the city to meet the lizard. And one of the crane workers is one of the guys that Peter saved his son earlier in the movie whenever he did the thing with the webs and caught all the cars and just hung them on the bridge. Did you guys like that part?
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was
that guy?
Yeah.
Was the kid from E.T.
The kid? That was the kid from E.T.?
Yeah.
The little kid?
C. Thomas Howell. I do believe his name is.
Wow.
interesting.
Yeah.
And he's like, here I am. I'm back for this.
Right.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
30 years later.
Just
That's
some
so cool.
kid's dad. Oh, and a crane worker
Yep.
that actually gets to help Spider-Man. He says, let's line up all the cranes in a way that will help this injured Spider-Man get to Oscorp. It's pretty cool. It was a pretty cool way to show the city, like, kind of getting on board.
I agree. It made me feel good.
It did make me feel
A common
good.
man can help
Someone else.
radioactive spider-bitten teenager
Yes.
to save everyone from the lizard people.
Well, it's a relatable story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
He gets there. He fights off the lizard. They get the antidote into the sky. Lizard, Dr. Connors basically fails, but not without Dennis Leary dying. And he says, promise me that you won't date my daughter. And he goes, I promise. And he lied.
Yeah.
This is a movie that doesn't really care about last wishes. He's still Spider-Man in the end, and he's gonna date Gwen Stacy, and he's gonna keep being Spider-Man.
He tried for a minute. Yeah.
He did try for one. Yeah,
He broke up with her,
Yeah,
and
a
in
couple of
typical
weeks.
high school, they're like,
Yeah, but he skipped the funeral.
Yeah, skip the funeral.
You don't skip the funeral. You at least go and you stand over there. Like, you don't have to stand by her.
Right.
I mean, how'd that not look suspicious too?
Exactly. I'd be like, hey, is he Spider-Man?
Duh.
And that even felt, a lot like the end of the first movie, where it was like, but then that's what they did different, right? Like, no, I am going to date her.
Yeah.
Instead of like the big harsh breakup at a funeral. All right, that's the movie. We'll save our ratings for last. Andy, what else do we miss? You got more on your list? Did you bring some notes today?
I do have a little bit of notes here.
What you got?
I enjoyed the wrestling ring callback to Spider-Man. That was the first one.
First
of course,
one,
yeah.
But it was a boxing ring, right?
No, I think it was wrestling because there's like a luchador mask that it was
Yeah,
up on the
that's
wall.
right.
And that's where he got his inspiration for the suit.
There you go.
So
You're right.
I thought that was kind of cool.
That was kind of cool.
As a wrestling fan.
Well, and in case you didn't know what what is it called?
Luchador.
He sees that mask on the wall, and he gets inspired to be like, I'll make a mask. But in case that wasn't enough, when he fell through, the cop at the top, or the guys that were chasing him, they were muggers. The guy goes, I saw your face.
Yeah.
I know who you are. And he's like, oh, I guess I need a mask. Okay, what else?
Let's see. Stan Lee cameo. Can you remember it?
Probably one of the best Stan Lee cameos in the game.
I agree.
Like, very good.
With the table coming at him from behind and then stopping and web back.
Got the headphones on,
Yeah.
like basically like these. Just
Oblivious.
Just listening to music. The good fight scene happening. Yes, really good.
Missed that guy. But I enjoyed how they kind of leaned into like the nerdy, smart side of Peter Parker. But it's still, I think, it just kind of fell not flat, but it just wasn't up to par for the first go around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's honestly because of the timing of it. I just think it's just not as good of a movie.
Yeah. I feel like I wish I would have watched this first to give myself the best chance. I guess like in 15 more years, I'll try again. But like, I think at this point, you're right.
When the multiverse reopens again, part 2.
Well, you're right. What could change our minds is what happens in future films now with the way things are looking. Scotty, what else you got in this movie? What you like? What don't you like?
I thought the scene where he saved the kid from the car.
Yes.
Had all the cars hanging from the bridge, and the kid in there, he takes the mask off, lets the kid see his face.
Yep.
Put the mask on, it'll make you strong. Save the kid. That was good.
My only problem with that part was that he's holding onto the car, and the kid's like climbing slowly, and he's like, "Get up here, kid!" And then the car falls, and he's like, "What do I do?" And I was like, "Why didn't you just use your web from the get-go?"
Right.
But I mean, nitpick.
Yeah. I mean, you're hanging there. He could have webbed that thing like 7, 8 more times.
So many things.
Right.
But it was,
and then it catches on fire, of course.
Really quickly and badly. What else you got?
Not forget that he brought home Aunt May's eggs. You remember the eggs?
Oh yeah.
Just pulled them out of the backpack.
Just pulls out the eggs, and it's like everything's forgiven. And I just thought, like, that Uncle Ben scene is so wild. Like, everybody's right there.
Yeah.
First of all, like, everyone's around. Like, Uncle Ben's across the street. I'm over here. Then he's dead.
Robber running away, and just a bang, boom, pow, it's over.
And he even comes across the street, and he's like, Uncle Ben. And he like looks down, and he's like, it happened so quick. I was like, this does not feel anything like the Uncle Ben I saw that died in Sam Raimi's film. This is nothing compared to it.
I feel like they could have done with like 75% more Uncle Ben.
Yes.
Maybe kill him off towards the end of the movie to really get that chemistry between Peter and Ben to make him feel like somebody. I feel they just kill him off at the beginning of every movie.
Right. It's like, that's the only way we can do it. Anything else on your notes?
No, I got it all. Only thing left is the rating, baby.
Yeah, let's talk about how we feel in rating. So I'll just talk about some high level stuff. How I feel like the writing is just a little weak. I think the story itself like could have been there. Like, you got all the pieces of a good story. You got the character, you got the girl, you got the villain, you got the Uncle Ben stuff. You got the origin story there, but none of it hits.
No.
And I think a lot of this is Andrew Garfield. I say that, but like it could have been, what else is Andrew Garfield in? The Social Network.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Never seen
Oh,
it.
that's a good movie.
Yeah, he got an Oscar nomination for that one.
And I loved him in the Facebook movie, the Social Network. But this one, I just felt like it was very much teeny bopper, very much like we don't need to give too much depth into like why he's thinking anything. He's just kind of like these things are happening to him. He's going through it, and I just didn't feel that connection. And like even when the movie is coming to a close, the only thing that got me excited for the second one was like I looked at Carrie and I was like, "What'd you think?" She goes, I didn't really like it. And I said, okay. I was like, well, Jamie Foxx is in the next one. And she goes, oh. And I was like, that's pretty much what the whole world did, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well said. Well said.
I think on paper, it had everything going for it. You got Spider-Man, you got great actors, and it just wasn't the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
Was this Carrie's first watch of this?
Yes, first time ever.
What was her thoughts?
Yeah, exactly. Well, first of all, she was like, I feel like I just saw a Spider-Man movie. And I was like, you did. And also, that's also what the world thought at the time. I was like, but she goes, without, but also just in general, like, I just didn't feel like it was fine. She's like, it looked really good. It looked really cool. And I like the action. And she's like, Emma Stone, great. Emma Stone, always fun to watch. But just like that magic.
Yeah.
What about Steph?
She didn't watch it with me.
Shanna?
Nope.
You guys did this. This was an alone time watch. This was your guilty pleasure watch.
That's right.
Well, I don't like that I'm taking you guys away from your gals. You guys got to team up on these.
I watch it during work. It's okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're always like same day. Only during your lunch hour.
Only
2.5 hour film.
Yeah.
It's long too.
Yeah, this was a late night watch.
Oh yeah, I had to watch this with commercials too because I was too
Andy.
cheap.
No,
dude, I did not want to pay $4 to rent this when I could watch it just with commercials and save $4.
I paid $4.
I paid the $2.99 for the standard version.
That's a good idea.
I'll easily pay $3 or $4 to miss out on 7 to 8 ads.
Yeah.
I was
Andy.
working, so I was like, the commercial hit. I was like,
yeah.
okay, time to do some work.
Time to get some stuff done. All right, let's not mess around anymore. Let's get some ratings. Talk about how this thing made you feel. Giggler, let's start with you. The Amazing Spider-Man. Lay it on us.
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, I think like just not as good as the first go around. I flip it around to like a 2.75.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
All right, 2.75. Solid.
Something that I would really only rewatch again if like I had to, probably.
Yep.
Maybe it should be lower than that 2.75, but I mean it still had what you wanted in these movies. It just didn't. I don't know. Like I don't know. I still can't think of what it was really. The one thing it was missing, but just wasn't as good as the first ones.
That's fair. And you know what? You can maybe argue that like if you had a younger kid, or just even doesn't have to be a younger kid, just a person that has not seen anything else, and you put this in front of them, I'd be curious to hear like what they thought as a Spider-Man film. Scotty Scoop, rating, final thoughts?
Like I said, I think this definitely benefited from the rewatch. I'm so far away, 8 years probably. I would give it a solid 2.8.
Nice.
Yeah. It's, like you said, it's a Spider-Man movie.
Right.
It's not terrible, but it wasn't good in comparison to what we had. I remember sitting down and watching it. Just when the opening sequence, I was like, this isn't my Spider-Man.
Right. Exactly. Like already you're thinking, okay, who's this?
Yeah, this isn't Toby.
And that young kid, I still open up with that young kid was such a choice, I felt like, too, to be like, what if his parents are still alive?
Yeah.
And like he's like 8, so he remembers. Because Carrie had a good point. She's like, plane crash. Is that what happened in the Toby films? I'm like, I don't think they even talked about it once.
Nope. No.
They don't even say one thing about like how. All right, 2.8. Guys, I think we're all pretty similar. 2.8 right here as well.
Nice.
I'm with you. The magic wasn't there. I think even if this was the only film I had seen with the character, I think I'd feel the same way. Like I feel like, it's one of those things where you feel bad for comparing it to the Toby films, which is like impossible for me not to, but still stand alone. I just think that it needed a lot more. It needed to have more connection to the characters. You needed a little bit more depth into the why behind everybody in the movie. Like even like Gwen Stacy. I was like, what's driving her to do what? And Peter Parker, most of all. Like, what's driving this guy to do anything?
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Connors, like, I mean, he puts that thing in his arm, and I guess you could argue that made him go crazy because he just flat out goes completely off the rails.
Just another good guy gone bad guy story.
Yeah.
Oh, but like, here's the thing: Doc Ock, Alfred Molina.
Yeah.
I mean, they nailed it. Like that was like
Yeah.
a good guy gone bad, and I'm like, I'm buying this. Dr. Connors, like as good as that actor is, I was still just like, this is bananas. But
Yeah.
like they did a lot of, you know what they did? They kind of took that too, right? They took the Doc Ock and also the Green Goblin aspect of like this other thing in your head. And that lizard would talk to him and tell him like, no, you need to do this. And he's like, okay. So I don't know. Again, I felt like I just saw this.
Yeah.
You know, I just saw this.
They did the same thing with Sandman. You know, at the very end, you know, give the villain that little glimmer of redemption. You know, where Lizard reaches down and he grabs a hold of Peter as it was falling off that building.
Yes.
You know,
And he grabs him with his
his
new hand.
yeah, his new arm,
and
that
it
is
starts to fall
starting
apart.
to disappear.
Oh, and then we didn't even talk about it. There's an end credit scene.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
You're supposed to, I guess that
Ma-
that's Norman Osborn.
Is that who it was?
In the I watched the credits roll.
What'd it say?
It said "Man in the Shadows."
See, I was gonna say like man in hat.
Yeah.
And that guy's like, don't mess with Peter Parker. Don't mess with him. Don't mess with Spider-Man. And he's like, we'll do what we need to.
Right.
And does that pay off in the second one?
I don't believe it's so at all.
Right. Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah.
You guys know we got to watch that.
Okay.
I love it. That's how much we love this stuff. I mean, look at the three of us. We love this stuff. The fact that you can hear it in our voices. Like this one just didn't hit quite right. That's when you know something went wrong. All right, man. The Amazing Spider-Man. We had about an average of 2.8 on this one. I thought it was good for comparison. Spider-Man 1. I can't remember your guys' scores. I just have mine from the recent notes, but I had a 3.7 for Tobey Maguire's first one, 3.3 for Spider-Man 2, 3.2 for Spider-Man 3, and we're at 2.8 for The Amazing Spider-Man, and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is next, and you're going to be able to find all these films at our brand new Sony library review page. That's mostly superheroes.com/Sony. Venom, the Tobey films, and now the Garfield films, they're all going to be in there. Go check it out.
Like, what do you think about this reptile man being in that movie? You guys excited for that, or?
I think so. I think it's one of the bright spots of this movie was the lizard.
Is that what you mean? Being in The Amazing Spider-Man?
Yeah.
No, I'm in the upcoming.
No, but yeah, being in the No Way Home. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I said that.
Oh, you're talking about
totally wrong.
Spider-Man No Way Home?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do it
I'm
coming up.
I'm for. Okay, good call.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Trying to tell the future.
You're always right on pace. You're always like, well, what about? I'm like, just wait a minute, Andy, for the slide.
Give me 30 seconds.
Give me 30 seconds for coming up.
For once, you're early. Jeez.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's keep
Very
it going,
premature.
though. So the lizard, you were saying, so is that going to happen? So Spider-Man No Way Home coming
I'm
up
just
here
guessing.
December. Oh, that's a
Obviously
guess.
nobody knows anything.
I thought maybe you saw
It's
it
in the rumor mill.
No. I'm just like, it just seems like that would make sense.
There's only so many characters to pull from the 5 previous films.
Yes.
You know,
and here's the thing: I'm okay with any of them as well. Obviously, like the nerd to me is like bring them all in, but like you better bring them in and make sure that it feels good, but the story better be there. And if you do this for, a quick little cameo that plays nothing into the story and then nothing happens and it falls flat, like I promise you this, your audience will notice. But I want to see them. I want to see it. I want to see this No Way Home bring in the multiverse. And I mean, they're going to do it. We know we got Doc Ock coming in. He's in the trailer. We've seen teases of Goblin from Sam Raimi. You made the prediction it's going to be Hobgoblin. And now we got the Amazing Spider-Man film. We just watched the first one. We don't know for sure if Garfield's going to be in it, but we have heard rumors all the way back to last year. The next movie we'll watch coming up on the show will be, and it won't be this week. It'll be the following week because this week we have the Eternals. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Jamie Foxx's Electro has been rumored to be in this film. And Jamie Foxx has like flat out said this. There was headlines on comicbook.com and many others last year that said confirmed.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Can't wait. 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
It's counting down.
Countdown is on. The rewatch is real. These Spider-Man films have been so much fun. And then, yes, in 2 days from now, real time, when you're listening to this, the movie's out. We have seen it. The Eternals. We're seeing it at Ronnie's on IMAX Friday night. Scotty, you excited?
I'm super excited.
Andy?
So excited. This movie is so long, though. Did you see the runtime?
2.5?
240 or so.
240.
Whoa.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Hefty.
See, those are things that I don't like to tell Carrie until like the moment we go in.
Oh, that's
Just
fine.
Give her no back out.
She probably won't listen to this before Friday, so
Right, yeah.
sorry, Carrie.
Yeah, she's not on Patreon, so she doesn't get it early.
Oh.
No, yeah, we can't wait. We're gonna go see this thing. I can't believe we're gonna have another MCU. We have 2 more MCU movies before the end of the year, and today is November 3rd. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool time to be alive. All right, The Eternals, Hawkeye, Spider-Man, No Way Home. All this is happening on the show. One more Spider-Man movie to go. So in terms of coming up, you'll hear a full review, spoiler-filled review of The Eternals next week. Week after that, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, getting us primed and ready for No Way Home coming up in December. Folks, we had a couple other things that we wanted to highlight. We had a trailer come out this week before we wrap up the show today. It's Morbius, the Living Vampire, Jared Leto, the first full-length trailer. Holy cow, vampire in action. Jared Leto looks fantastic. This thing looks great. Let's start with you, Giggler. What'd you think of this trailer?
Definitely got me more excited than I was prior. I kind of forgot this movie was even coming out.
Mhm.
What is the release date?
I don't even remember.
I think it's mid-January.
Okay. Yeah, I knew it was like extremely soon.
Yeah.
January?
Something else to look
January.
forward to, I guess.
But I mean, it's been delayed.
I was thinking in my
Oh
head.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, do we see this like opening night, or is this like a $5 Tuesday type thing? Like, if you wait a little bit. I'll probably go for the latter.
I'm seeing this opening weekend. I don't know if I'm going for opening night.
Yeah, opening
Yeah.
weekend just because of the podcast, honestly. You know, we want to make sure we get that somewhat review. But like, you're right. It's not like the same kind of countdown I have for the Eternals or Spider-Man right now. It's like, but some cool things from the trailer. We'll just talk about it. Spoiler alert if you're into that kind of thing for trailers. Michael Keaton just flat out in this thing again. Can you guys, who is he playing?
Man, it's all over the place.
Because he looks like he's in like a scientist jacket, like a lab coat.
Yeah.
Scientist jacket. Scientist jacket.
Acting
It's near the end of the
practice.
show. We're almost there, buddy.
Acting. Hey, I stand by acting practice. Play practice. Play practice. But I mean, here's the thing. It seems like in the very first teaser we got, 30 years ago,
Right.
it looked like he was like in prison maybe, or he was the Vulture. But this, I just can't tell if he's just like a new character.
That's man, this is full blown multiverse madness is what's going on right here.
What if he's Batman?
Right.
He's like, I just jumped over here from the Flash. What else we get? We also get a call out to Venom, which this is the Sony verse, right? This is one of Morbius is one of the
Sony Spider-Man characters.
absolutely. They got a whole handful of these. This is one of them. And there's a call out directly to Venom, like Morbius being Morbius, but like says like, I'm Venom, just kidding. And we know what we saw in Venom, Let There Be Carnage in credit scene. Is there any chance we're going to see Morbius in No Way Home?
I don't think so.
That seems too weird.
Yeah.
No one would know
Yeah.
who it is. Not no one.
Well, and
but obviously
here's the thing.
a lot of people I don't think would.
I think Morbius was supposed to come out before this Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they had to reshoot anything
Nah, I'm
to
not
make it
counting on
fit.
I think you'd be
Right,
more
that's
like
a
I think you'd
really
be
good
more likely
question.
to see Venom in it than
In the Morbius
than
movie.
Venom in No Way Home than Morbius.
I mean, I'm about to, like, that's happening.
Yeah. We better get something.
That's happening. I'm already like, that's like, in my mind, Venom's in No Way Home confirmed.
I'm predicting end credit scene, but
Okay, that's fair. You know what? It'd be cool. Like, one thing we know from Morbius trailer, we got the same thing from before the teaser. Like, it was realistically, it was like a year and a half ago. Spider-Man Raimi Raimi Spider-Man on the wall.
On the wall.
Yep.
Murderer.
What do we think about this? Like, after seeing the full-blown trailer, like, is Spider-Man in this world?
Or is he not?
Yes.
Is this the Spider-Man murderer that killed what's his name from the last Spider-Man movie?
From the Tom Holland.
Right.
Far From Home murdering Mysterio. Is that why?
Is this why he's labeled a murderer?
And is that why Keaton's in there? Because he's from Homecoming? You can't mess with us like this.
There's so many loose threads here.
Come on now.
And I think it's going to play to their advantage that there is so much speculation of what is going on with this movie.
Well, and at this point, man, I've said it, like with Venom and everything, Sony, like everybody's playing ball. It's not like it was whenever this Andrew Garfield movie came out.
Yeah.
Like that movie came out the same year as Avengers, and they were like, no, you watch us. We'll make this Spider-Man. No. Like, bring it in-house. Let everybody play together. You got Venom, let there be carnage. 8 weeks later, you got Spider-Man No Way Home. 4 weeks later, 3 weeks, you got Morbius. I don't know. I'm just feeling a little bit of, like, maybe a little bit of scheduling. Like, they're working with each other. And you get excited, man.
Sony working the magic.
I'm taking it one at a time.
They've got Kraven in the pipe.
Yeah.
Also,
that's another one.
Kraven the Hunter. Playing by Jonathan Majors?
No, that is Kang.
That was Kang.
Kraven is the guy who played Quicksilver in Avengers Age of Ultron.
Michael Leslie Johnson or something like that?
I think you're right. Yeah, he played, he's also in American Horror Story.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Oh, Aaron Taylor
Johnson.
No,
that's the other.
That's the other Quicksilver.
That's the other Quicksilver.
Yeah, you're right. It is Aaron Taylor Johnson. Played Kick-Ass.
Yep.
Played Quicksilver in the MCU. Kraven the Hunter. I've heard rumors of like a Black Sable.
Yeah. Black Cat. Silver Sable.
Silver Sable. Combine the names. That's why we need you, Scotty.
Yeah.
Got the source material down. These are the Sony Marvel properties. How will they play a role? It's all coming together, I think. But like Andy said, one movie at a time. Starting off with the Eternals. Can't wait. All right, boys. Season 2, episode 45. Anything else on the list for this week?
Our favorite theater.
Yes.
Ronnie's. Marcus. Got some news.
What?
They just had their quarterly earnings report.
And
the first time since the pandemic, they are positive in cash flow.
In cash flow?
In cash flow.
Way to go, Ronnie's.
Movies are back.
Movies are back. That is something I want to hear. This has been an interesting year, right? An interesting 2 years. And summer at the movies.
Yeah.
We went almost every week for like 10 weeks. And then like, here we go. We're back again. I'm realizing, man, that is not something that's going away. I love the home streaming, but I love going to the movies.
All about the experience.
Yes. And this is like, the Eternals. You talk about a movie you got to see in IMAX.
Yeah.
Dune, you guys said it, right? It's like some of these movies, the way they shoot them, get in front of that big screen. Can't wait. Back row. We got the seats.
Oh, yeah.
Three Kings.
Yes,
do a
please.
Little pre-show beer. Do some apps.
Happy hour.
Giggler, any final words for the squad?
I'm really pumped for happy hour now that we're talking about it. It's only Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday for us. 2 more days. The week's almost here.
So close.
Scotty Scoop, final send-off for the crew.
Thanks, guys. Good show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming back. I mean, look at that. We get you in randomly.
I'm on a streak.
And you're on a streak right now. You're like I said, I think tell me if you're down. Finish up Spider-Man with us. And definitely do Eternals. And PC Mike, we miss you. We love you. And he'll be in here. We've been texting with him. He's going to be back in here. Whenever he sees something that he's got to talk about, he's going to be here. And, hey, I said we get 4 of us in here.
Oh, yeah.
There's room.
Absolutely. Listener, watcher, we're nothing without you guys. You guys keep showing up for us. You keep telling your friends and family about us. And you keep supporting us, whether you're liking us, you're subscribing to us where you listen to podcasts, watching us on YouTube. And by all means, please spend some time at mostlysuperheroes.com. The website looks great. We spent a lot of time making it easy, fun to use, new categories showing up all the time, and contests happening at mostlysuperheroes.com/contest, and we'll keep doing it for you. Come join us next week back in the basement here in St. Louis for another episode of Mostly Superheroes. We'll see you next time. Take it easy.